we'll go over is the opportunities at Andrews University for your student as a freshman student or a transfer student coming into university. So if you have seniors, if you have rising seniors that are juniors this year, we'll talk about admission requirements, what we want their academy curriculum to look like, so what classes we would recommend that they take here at Andrews University, and then some different levels of acceptance as undergraduate students. Oh, he can't hear anything. There we go. Thank you for speaking up. How is this? Okay, very good. Sorry about that. We'll get our Zoom people caught up. So we'll talk about different ways to be accepted as an Andrews University student, and then some of the different support services that we might have for your students, whether it's through professional academic advising, whether it's through accommodation support, anything like that. We'll talk about those things. Something else we'll talk about is dual enrollment that is available for your students here at Andrews Academy. They can take classes at Andrews University, get university credit while they are still studying at Andrews Academy. That's a pretty good deal to get some credits out of the way. So by the time they start as freshmen over there, they could even have a semester out of the way. So that's definitely something you might want to look into if you have an ambitious and highly academic student here at Andrews. Something else I want to make sure that we go over tonight is our early college experience. I don't know how many of you have heard about early college experience, but it's a 3-week program in the summer. It starts the end of July and goes right up through right before freshman orientation week at the university. Early college experience gives our incoming freshmen, or even they can be high school juniors going into their senior year, so they don't have to wait until they've graduated from academy. They can take a 3-credit class, live in the dorm, eat at the cafeteria. Speaking of the cafeteria, have you guys eaten at Andrews University cafeteria? It is my favorite restaurant. It is so good, you guys. So if you ever are looking for a place to eat and you're like, man, Taco Bell's gone now, please go over to the cafeteria. It is phenomenal. That salad bar is out of this world. And there's always pizza. You can't beat that. But during early college experience, the students get to live in the dorm for 3 weeks, eat at the cafeteria for 3 weeks. They have outings. They go to Chicago. I think they go to a play. They go to a baseball game. They do all this extracurricular stuff in the evenings, all supervised. We take them everywhere. And they take a 3-credit class and get university credit for that. So it's a pretty good deal. It costs about $1,200, I think, Heck Marie, for the whole thing. And that is for their tuition, their fees, their food, their outings, everything. You can't beat that price. All right, so let's officially get started now that we have our PowerPoint up here. Let me just share my screen with our Zoom people at home. People on Zoom, thank you so much for joining us on Zoom. If you would be so kind as to mute your microphones, and that way we can make sure there's no feedback or anything for the group here in person. If you do have a question, you can just pop it into the chat, and I will do my very best to answer those questions as we go along or at the end of the meeting. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm a very informal person. So if I'm talking and something doesn't make sense or a thought pops into your mind, just go, hey, Wendy, da-da-da, and I'll just stop, and it's fine. You can interrupt me. I don't mind at all. So let's go ahead and get started here. All right. So we have some good news on our first slide. Andrews University is ranked number 1. If you want to advance the slides in the back. Thank you very much. Andrews University is ranked number 1. How many of you have heard that before? Yes, we've all heard this before. Andrews University is number one. Now, what we're number one in, it kind of fluctuates from year to year, but there's always a number one in there. One thing that we are usually known for is being number one recently in the state of Michigan. So the latest rankings came out for 2026, and Andrews is ranked number one, best small college in Michigan. So this is the second or third year in a row that we've gotten this ranking, so we feel very blessed to have that. We're also the number one most diverse school in Michigan. Of course, we're Andrews University, right? And typically, we are ranked number one in the nation for diversity as well. In the nation, you guys. And I'm not talking about Adventist schools. I'm talking about any university, college or university in the United States. Andrews University for the last how many years? I mean, since I've been here and this time, for the past 8 years, number one in diversity. So that's pretty cool. So let's look at the next slide. These are our undergraduate admissions requirements for freshmen. So as you're thinking about your junior or your senior, even your sophomore, getting into university, what curriculum do they need? What are universities looking for your students and on their high school transcript? So I'm obviously going to talk specifically about Andrews University, but many other universities follow the same requirements. We're looking for a high school GPA of a 2.75 or higher, a 2.75 or higher. And we would like to see a curriculum that includes 4 years of English. That's pretty standard. Probably all of your students will have that. 3 years of high school level math, which means Algebra 1 and higher. So if they're taking pre-algebra their freshman year, that won't count as a high school level math. If they are taking Algebra 1A 1 year and Algebra 1B the second year, that does count as 2 years of math, okay? So if they do Algebra 1A, Algebra 1B, and then geometry, we will count that as the 3 years of math. 3 years of history or social studies. You got to get those Mr. Sherman classes in there, guys. You got to get them in there. Mr. Sherman was my teacher when I was in high school in Battle Creek. And then 3 years of science with a lab. This student that has this curriculum, we are saying, yes, this looks very nice. These students are definitely coming to Andrews. Now, if your student doesn't have that 2.75 GPA, or they don't have that curriculum, don't worry. There is a path for them. We have now what we call the Andrews Gateway Program. The Andrews Gateway Program is for students that they might have below a 2.75 GPA. I think it goes all the way down to a 2.0. And depending on the GPA, depending on the curriculum, if they have a lesser curriculum than what I've talked about tonight, the Gateway Director, Hans Figueroa, some of you may know him, he will interview the student. He may ask for an essay. He may ask for recommendations from teachers or administrators at their school. And, you know, he will try to figure out, okay, is university a good fit for this student? Is this a student that just maybe needs some support and we can definitely get them through university? And if that's the case, he will recommend admissions through the Gateway Program. Another element of the Gateway Program is that the student is required to come to what we call a summer bridge program that happens kind of that same time as the early college experience. It starts the end of July. It's a 3-week program, and they go right up through the beginning of freshman orientation. They have to pass the Gateway class with a C or higher. And that 3-credit class they take in the summer, I think it gives them a credit of math, a credit of some liberal arts, and then there's another credit in there. But they do get 3 university credits if they come in through the summer bridge program, through the Gateway Program. If you do want to know more about that, you can look it up on our website, just in the search bar, just type in Gateway. Otherwise, you can come and talk to any of the 3 of us after our presentation tonight. So for our seniors, probably all of your seniors have already applied to Andrews University. We go after those apps, man. We want We want our own students on our campus. We love you guys, and we definitely want to keep them close to home here. But your seniors, we probably already have their applications. Along with that, we need a 6-semester or a 7-semester transcript. So that will be a transcript for freshmen through junior years, that's 6 semesters, or through, if we don't see what we need on that 6-semester transcript, we'll say, hey, give us your transcript at the end of the 1st semester of your senior year, and let's look and see what we have there. And then also ACT and SAT scores, not required, but it definitely gives us more information about the student and their university preparedness. So if they have taken the SAT or the ACT, make sure your students turn those scores into us as well. If they choose to come to Andrews or any other institution, the institution will use those for course placement. So for example, if your student wants to come to university and they want to take Calc 1 their freshman year, they have to prove readiness for Calc 1, right? And sometimes a transcript showing they took pre-calc isn't enough. We may need test scores as well. And again, any other university would say the same thing. So if they've taken the test, and I encourage them to do that, definitely make sure they turn those scores in. So looking at our juniors, if your juniors have applied to Andrews University or they're interested in doing so, we need a couple of things from them. We need an application. Number one, you can't get accepted to university until you apply, right? So we need an application from them. And then with just a 5-semester transcript and PSAT scores, your junior can be accepted to Andrews University. So obviously, we're making some assumptions there, right? We're assuming they will graduate with a high school diploma. And so while they're accepted, before they actually start at Andrews, we will need that final official transcript showing a graduation date. So on our next slide of undergraduate admission requirements, students admitted to Andrews will be assigned academic advising based on the curriculum and cumulative high school GPA. So again, they could be accepted regular because they have the curriculum we're looking for, they have the GPA we're looking for. We have different levels of advising. If they're missing a couple of courses from that curriculum or their GPA is a little bit lower, we may put them with a different academic advisor, one that will be looking out to make sure they get the support they need, or they may even be advised through that gateway program that we talked about before. Students admitted will be awarded a $8,000 to $14,000 annual Andrews Partnership Scholarship, and everybody gets this scholarship. It's the biggest scholarship we give, and it's something that I know a lot of families appreciate. I know my family really appreciated it when my students got their APS, and then we even super score your, let me back up. We even super score your ACT or SAT. So what that means is if you take the ACT multiple times, we'll take the best skills score from each test and we'll smash them into one super score. We do offer a full tuition scholarship, and this is important. The full tuition scholarship can be awarded a couple of different ways. Number one is if your student gets a 34 ACT composite, 34 ACT, and it can be super scored, or a 1490 SAT, 1490 SAT, they will be awarded a full tuition scholarship. Another way that they can be awarded a full tuition scholarship, and this is where I really need you to listen because a lot of parents don't know this, that there's money that comes with this. If your student took the PSAT, which they did, if your student took the PSAT and they were awarded a National School Scholar Award, that's what it's called, right? They just changed it this year. It used to be like National Hispanic Recognition Scholar or National Small Town and Rural Scholar. Maybe some of your seniors have that. So any of those, or a National School Scholar Certificate, your student will be awarded a full tuition scholarship at Andrews University. So make sure if your student is awarded this, you turn that certificate into Andrews University. If you don't know if your student has been awarded this, they can log into the College Board website, or you can ask your guidance counselor or your guidance counselor here at Andrews University, and they will have access to that data for you. But that's a full tuition scholarship at Andrews University. And as far as I know, I think we're the only Adventist school that does that, right? For the National School Scholar? Oh, okay. Okay. She says some Adventist schools give 50% tuition. We give the whole thing. So if your student has those awards, please turn them in. So let me talk about some of our student services. We have the Office of Student Success, which offers academic accommodations or ADA compliance matters, things like that. There's a writing center there. Many academic support services for your student. Andrews has funding to provide all of those that you need. We have a career center. It's at the 3rd floor of the James White Library, and this is where students will get advice on crafting a resume, internship opportunities, things like this. The students, in order to get the best of any of these services, counseling and testing, Center for Faith Engagement, ACA, in order for your students to get the most benefit out of the services, they really need to take some initiative and make sure they get involved. So the Career Center, for example, will send information to students all the time, but if the student doesn't, click on it or read it or something like this, they could miss out on important internships and other available resources. And we know what internships lead to, right? Yeah, jobs, hello. That's the whole point, right? We need to get our kids internships, get them out into the workforce. So yeah, if your students are interested in any of these types of services, they can absolutely do that. So we do have our More for Less or accelerated degrees. These are where students come in as a freshman or even as a transfer, and they start as an undergraduate student, and they kind of glide right through a master's degree. These programs are accelerated, so we kind of shrink that time down. We have a few different options here. We have an architecture that they start as a freshman, go through in 5.5 years. They get their master's in architecture. We have a Bachelor's of Business Administration to an MBA, or an aviation to MBA program. That one's kind of cool. We have a few students in that. Students can study speech pathology and audiology, physical therapy, social work, and we had a new one last year, which is OT, and that one, it's a little bit different. You start in a BS psychology program, and then you come out in 6 years with a degree in occupational therapy. That's kind of a cool one. So we have around 100 world-changing degrees, including biology, engineering, psychology, religion, computer science. One that's not on here, but we love, and I know we love this at Andrews Academy, is education. We need teachers, you guys, especially men. If there are any men out there thinking about going to college and going into education, please be male teachers. My 3 boys, we love their teachers. Don't get me wrong, Mrs. Horton. We love you so much. You're still our favorite teacher. But, man, to have male teachers for our young men, that's such a cool experience. And some of my favorite students going through education, and I've seen them get job placement, is the guys that work in my office. I'm just so proud of them. They're so good at it. So if anybody's interested in education, now is a great time to get into that field. The state of Michigan is offering subsidy for education majors. When you do your student teaching, your last semester of school, they pay you. The state of Michigan pays you to do your student teaching. So right now is a really good time to go into education. A little bit of financial information about Andrews. You can find all the stats you need at andrews.edu/tuition. We do have several scholarships out there through Andrews University. Again, we have our APS, our Andrews Partnership Scholarship. That's up to $14,000. We give scholarships for students that work at summer camp, if they do megabooks or youth rush, any kind of summer ministries. We give scholarships for that. We also give a $750 leadership scholarship to our freshmen coming into Andrews. The summer camp one, my son Joey, my middle boy, who's studying engineering, he worked at Camp AssemblyChapel. He was the baker, and he chose that because He had to get up at 4:30 in the morning and start baking. But guess what? He got his weekends off, and he was done working by 2 p.m. So he was like, "Yeah, I'll take that one." His radio handle was Hot Hands Keo, and they're making pizza dough all day. So whatever he made working at Campus Able, Andrews matched that. So he walked away with about $6,000 that he could put on his school bill that year. So here are our pre-college services or our dual enrollment program. So this is where your student, for example, at Andrews University, they can take a communications class over there, and they can also get high school credit for it here. So that's why we call it dual enrollment. Our dual enrollment classes are severely discounted, you guys, just $165 per credit. We offer around 100 university courses, and if you want more information, you can contact precollege at andrews.edu, or you can talk to your school registrar here, and she will have all of that information for you. So we do have a few events coming up for our Andrews Academy juniors and seniors. We have AA Senior Day on October 9. This is a fun day just for our senior class. And heck, Marie, maybe at the end can tell a little more about it, about the theme and things like that. But we have our seniors come over and explore the entire campus. It is such a fun day. Like, really, I mean, they're sneakily learning about university, but really it just seems like a lot of fun. So not a normal school day, guys. They're not sitting in class. They are running and having a blast. Lake Union Conference College Days is November 2 to 3. That's for our Andrews Academy juniors and seniors and students from all over the Lake Union and even beyond that. This is a big event. We have, between 100 and 200 students there. It might be closer to 150, closer to 200. And you know what they do? They just have so much fun bonding with each other and eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. So much fun. If anybody wants to visit Andrews University from a prospective student or parent perspective, you can sign up for an individual visit, and you can do that at andrews.edu/visit, or it's right on our homepage. If you just go to andrews.edu, it says right there, how can I visit? You just click, and you can sign up for an appointment there. So at this point, I want to thank you for your time. I know maybe it feels like we kind of rushed through everything. If anybody has any questions, now is a good time. Or if I don't see any hands up or hear any shouting right away, I'll just ask Heck Marie to come up and talk a little bit about our AA Senior Day that's coming up. Okay, yes. Mr. Mowry, hi, nice to see you. Good question. So the question, for those of you on Zoom who didn't hear it, is if your student is awarded full tuition through one of the ways that I mentioned, what do they actually have to pay for? So that scholarship is just how it sounds, full tuition. So what they need to pay for is they need to pay for their books. They need to pay for room and board, which is a place to stay and a place to eat. There may be some fees that the student has to pay, but those are typically minimal. One thing that we will not cover is if your student joins clubs, for example. We have like 80 student clubs on our campus. It's amazing. And sometimes those clubs have, $50 dues or something like this, and students will just sign up for 10 clubs, which is awesome. But then they're like, why do I have to pay $500? Well, you signed up for all these clubs, and you got all this stuff, and you're going to eat all this food this semester, and so we won't pay for that. Let me tell you this. Sometimes when parents or students see that they get a full tuition scholarship, they declare a triple major right away, which they're trying to get the most bang for their buck, right? I get it. But we do have some limits on this full tuition scholarship. It's limited at 144 credits. That's 20 credits beyond a bachelor's degree, okay? So if they wanted to add a minor, they wanted to add a second major that was kind of similar to the first, they could do that. But when they start adding, triple majors and 2 minors, they're going to go over that 144 credits. So make sure you speak with your student financial advisor and your academic advisor right away. So if they are ambitious and they do want a double major, that they have all their course planned down so they don't go over that 144 and you're not surprised when you get stuck with this tuition bill. Yeah, good question. Any other questions?
What do they need to do in order to maintain the scholarship, not lose it?
Okay, very good question. What do they need to do to maintain their scholarship? So this goes for the APS scholarship at any level and also the full tuition scholarship. They need to remain a student in good academic standing. That's about it. We do have academic probation if your GPA goes under, I think it's 2.0. Our students will be on academic probation. They will be assigned a AP advisor to kind of help get them back on track. And we're not taking that scholarship away right away, guys. We're not doing that. We know students, sometimes they come, they struggle, they work it out. But before we take any scholarship away, don't worry. Everybody will be very informed and know what's going on. We will have a lot of heart-to-hearts with your students before we take away any scholarships. Good question. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay, good question. So the question was, most times standardized exams, ACT or SAT, are offered on the Sabbath. And then often, so what are the opportunities for our students to take those not on the Sabbath? And then how often can they take those exams and the PSAT? Let's start with the PSAT. That's a super easy one. The PSAT is only offered in your school during the school day. You take it once a year. So you have really no options there. Your student already has PSAT scores. If they've been at Andrews Academy, they're probably on their transcript. And so when they apply to Andrews and we get their transcript, hopefully we'll see their PSAT scores. I don't know if that's still true, but we used to. I hope that we still do. Now for the ACT and SAT, you have a few different options here. Andrews Academy does offer those exams on a Sunday. We also offer those over at Counseling and Testing at Andrews University. The student has to have at least 60 days between tests. So if they take the SAT in March and the ACT in April, no problem. They're two different exams. But if you want to take the ACT in March and then again in April, that's a no-go. There has to be at least 60 days between exams. I see a hand in the back.
Yeah, I just want to clarify a bit for the SAT. For this year, it is offered throughout the month of October, from October 1 to October 31. So students are free to take these tests during the school day.
Great, very good. Thank you very much. Yes? Can they take it twice in October? No, they cannot. No, they cannot. Another option that your student has is instead of a national date, which are these Sabbath dates where they take these exams, or on the Sunday following those that the Academy and other Adventist places can arrange those. We have it on the campus of Andrews University at Counseling and Testing. We have what's called ACT on campus. They changed the name of it recently. ACT on campus. This is the ACT exam. It's the same as the national exam, but the student can arrange with Counseling and Testing Center to take it at a time that's convenient for them. Now, the catch is because it's not on or close to a national test date, those scores are only valid on the campus of Andrews University. But guess what? If they get a 34 on the ACT, they'll get a full tuition scholarship, just the same. But still, that 60-day rule applies. They can't take one week and again the next week and the next and the next. They also have to have applied to or have been accepted as a student to Andrews University. And that's not an Andrews rule, that's a ACT rule. So there are some things there. If you're interested in your student taking the ACT on campus, please send an email to undergrad@andrews.edu. That's undergrad@andrews.edu, because before they can sign up for that exam, I do need to verify that they have applied to Andrews. Yes. Good question. So the question was for our friends online. She's basically asking about what we call super scoring. If your student takes the ACT exam or the SAT exam, either one, multiple times, we will grab the top scores from the different skills and smash them into what we call a super score. And yes, if they get that 1490 or the 34, they'll absolutely get that full tuition scholarship through a super score. Yes. You're welcome. All right, Heck Marie, why don't you pop on up and tell everybody about our upcoming AA Senior Day? Oh, they have a cute flyer for you guys too, I think.
Before I talk about Senior Day, hearing us talk about full tuition scholarships, I'm always, because AA is special to us, they're always assigned to recruiters. They're assigned myself as the manager of the recruiters and then one of our recruiters. So I've been coming to AA for around 4 years now. I could tell you from experience, it happened to me last year. A parent came to my office, hey, Johnny got an email from College Board saying he was going to be eligible for one of the merit scholarships. He didn't click on it, but can you guys still give it to him? Unfortunately, we cannot. So you need to make sure that your student is following up on those emails. So when you take your PSATs, your sophomore or junior year, they do get an email from College Board letting them know you may be eligible for one of these. Please click on this link and continue the process, and that's how they get awarded their certificate. If the student doesn't do that, they're missing out on the opportunity of getting one of those, and I've seen it every year. We come here, we tell them their junior year, we tell them their senior year, and for some reason, sometimes they miss it. A lot of times they have it and don't share it with us, and then it's award ceremony time, and then they're like, wait, we have it, and we want to be part of the full tuition list, and then they share it with us. So it's always important that we're getting those certificates from them. And our kids actually here in AA, a lot of them get the small town rural scholarship. Some of our other schools, they're in Battle Creek, they're not considered sometimes. It depends. Grand Rapids, they can't get that. So it's a great opportunity because they could get the small town, they could get the scholar. We haven't really seen any of the new one of the first generation yet, so I'm not sure how that one works with the switches. So I just wanted to make sure I let you guys know. So it's based on how they answer the questions when they're taking their PSATs. It would trigger College Board letting them know if they think they're eligible. For those small town ones, what they're doing is they're judging you against how kids do in other small towns in rural area. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this year actually we started getting them from some of the students here at Andrews Academy and Great Lakes. The students started emailing them that they have it. So it looks like they're already awarding for those that took their PSATs junior year. I haven't seen any juniors tell me anything about them getting it yet, but I know for sure we've gotten several seniors, I think around 8 at this point, who have gotten the certificate. But it's very important that we have their scores. We actually don't have access to their scores. I depend on the school sharing those with me, or sometimes your students. So I have had students who tell me, hey, I got this small town, and when I go check, I don't have their SAT scores, so I have to tell them, can you please send me your PSAT scores or your SAT scores, because the program does require that we have scores in the system in order to award the full tuition, so that's another part. If they send it to me and I see we don't have their scores, I might send it back and tell them I need your scores so I could award you the full tuition. So I just wanted to share that. And yes, we do have Senior Day coming up. We created a cool flyer this year, which I'm gonna pass them along to all of you, and then we're gonna come and try to visit the seniors as well to remind them. I am going to be away for a tour next week, and Jairo's joining me for a portion of it. So we're not going to be able to be around enough to remind them. So we're trying to make sure we come this week. We're part of when they make the announcements that we give them flyers, that we give you guys flyers. The school does usually make this mandatory event for them to attend. They're kind of spending time with us while the kids are here doing their testing. We have them on our campus. And like Wendy shared, it is a very fun day. Sometimes with our Andrews Academy kids, they're like, I go to Andrews, I pass Andrews every day. Why are you making me go to Andrews? This is our way of letting them have fun without realizing they're learning about our campus. So we do what we call an amazing race. They have clues they have to solve. For those, I know for you guys, you probably know what an amazing race is. Apparently, the young kids do not. I had to explain what amazing race is. But yes, they would go to a department. There, they would have to do an activity. Most of the time, sometimes it's physical. For example, last year, it's not going to be something we do this year, so I could share. I'm not giving secrets away. Last year, they went to the wellness, and the basketball coaches were there, and somebody in the team needed to shoot 15 free throws. And once they had that, then they got the clue, and they found the next location. So it's activities like that. Sometimes if they go to an academic department, they have more academic activity. So that's fun, and they have to go around, and then as you can see, there are prizes. So they do come through a finish line, and then based on how they come through, we have first place, second place, third place, and then we have prizes. They usually range $60, $40, $20, and then we have the participation prize that everybody gets. But it's really fun. It takes a lot of planning from our team, but it's fun planning. And the kids, we even have little stuff that they wear to tell which team is which. And then at the end, we have lunch for them. We spend a little bit of time with them. We send them on their way. So it's usually an event. We have been starting it at 8 o'clock for the last 2 years because we've been providing breakfast for them. So we're going to have breakfast for them once again. For those who want to trickle in, the programming will start officially around 8:30, but we want to make sure that we have breakfast and they could come and enjoy that. And then they tend to end around 2 p.m. is when they end. Sometimes, believe it or not, even though they're off from school at that point, because seniors are required to be at Andrews, but not here, sometimes we kind of have to push them out the way because it's 3:15. We're like, guys, we need to really turn the keys into the wellness center and pick up, or to the Howard. But it is a really fun time. So I hope you motivate all of them. Because I do hear, even though it's mandatory, some kids sometimes tell me, so-and-so skipped because they thought it was going to be boring. Well, it's not. I would hope all of them enjoy it. And this year, we're going to make sure we also get some feedback from them if there's anything we need to adjust. So I would appreciate if you go back home, you share it. We'll be coming and telling them again, and that you motivate them to attend. And then we'll be around a little bit after the meeting. If you ever have questions, you could email me. That pre-college email right now, I also take care of dual enrollment. I help the dual enrollment director. If you have specific questions, Jairo, he does the ministry, but Andrews Academy is going to be the school that he's assigned to as well. So your kid could always swing by and talk to us, ask us questions. That's fine too. Oh yeah. So yeah, Jairo could share a little bit too about, because this is a new ministry that we have. It's called the Andrews Worship Collective. He could share a little bit about our praise team, their ministries. For example, our secondary leadership camp, which some of your kids are going to attend coming up. We're going to be a part of that too. We take care of Sabbath school. We take care of the evening activity. And it's going to be the second time in a larger scale that our praise team will be taking care of all the worship during that event.
Of course, yeah. Hi, everybody. Like Heck Marie said, my name is Jairo Diaz, and I'm also the recruiter for Andrews University. So that means I'll be coming around, sharing the information with them. So that means, sorry, I forgot. So that means I will be able to provide a helping hand to anybody that may need that. I'll be that first line of contact as well. But as well as the ministry that I am putting together on behalf of the enrollment team is a ministry that is more outreaching into our churches and communities, because we have also students that not all of our students, we're here in the academies. Sometimes we're in church and we go to public school and we don't ever hear about Andrews, or we didn't hear from a family member or a church member. And so we want to be also going into bridging the gap with our local church community and making awareness within our community. And with that said, as we have every year, we're planning to have 4 teams. Every year that we are having our freshman class come in, we will then provide opportunities for our students to audition at the beginning of the school year. There's a first week of school where only freshmen are on campus. And so within this first week, we provide opportunities of multiple audition slots. They can audition to be part of the recruitment travel team. So that means they can now go into different churches, different events that are pretty big. Like sometimes we did perform in PV, it was like 1,500 different Pathfinders. And then we also do even smaller events that sometimes it's a local church where it's like, say, 50 different youth. So there's a scale of that. And so we work with our unions and do youth rallies and all that. And they get to experience, one, they get to travel, they get to worship, and they get to praise with their community and also share the love they have for God, and keep on expanding the community that we have here at Andrews. So that's what we're doing there at Andrews with the new travel praise ministry that we're going on. And it's called the Andrews Worship Collective.
Thanks, Jairo. All right, guys. If at that time, if there's no more questions for the big group, we will wrap it up. I see one question. We'll take that, and then we'll just kind of mingle after. Go ahead. Where do they go for senior day? They need to be at the Howard Performing Arts Center at 8 a.m. And I'm guessing it's the same as they did before. What they did for breakfast last year was they got the Andrews University students' favorite breakfast from the gazebo. Are you guys doing that again this year, Heck Marie? Oh, they changed it? Oh, okay. Okay, still from the gazebo? Yes, good. Okay, all right. So again, we're not just trying to get them to learn stuff about, academics and this and that, but also what's the best food we have on campus, right? I know my kid Joey, he gets that breakfast burrito or that breakfast sandwich every day, and it's a killer. Like, it's really good. So we want to make sure that our incoming freshmen get to experience all the best things at Andrews as well. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate being here on behalf of Andrews University. If you have any questions, you can always email undergrad@andrews.edu, undergrad@andrews.edu, and that email is monitored by myself, Heck Marie, Jairo, the whole undergrad enrollment team. So God bless you, and thank you for joining us tonight. Let's just close with a word of prayer. Lord in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for the gift of our children. For our families, for our community, for those who are here and engaging with Andrews University. Lord, we have decisions to make regarding our students, or our students have decisions to make, and it may be as small as, what course should I take this semester, or what do I want to do with my life? So Lord, I ask that you continue to guide us, keep our eyes and ears and our heart open to you as we make these choices and move forward in our lives. Continue to bless everybody as they go on our way this evening, as we go back to our families, and as we move forward according to your will. I ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Good night.